Hi, everybody. We will start, I guess, with a short introduction. Sharon, ladies first.
Thank you. So I'm Sharon Argov. I'm VP Growth at HiBob. HiBob is an HR plus benefit platform. We've developed a software that helps the modern organization manage and engage with their people. And as part of that, we're offering what we call Benefit Shop, a partnership with the biggest insurance and perk suppliers.
Hey, my name's Nick Lefebvre. I'm Strategic Partnership Lead at Founders Factory. We're an accelerator and incubator based in London. So we're corporate backed. We have 6 sectors, but our InsurTech sector is backed by Aviva. And we've got a couple of Israeli companies working there at the moment.
My name is Yair Smith. I'm the VP Strategic Development and Head of Innovation for AmTrust Financial. AmTrust is a U.S. property and casualty insurer. We do over $8 billion of premium a year, 8,000 employees worldwide, and head up everything around innovation and corporate venture capital for the company, both in Israel as well as abroad.
Thanks. And I'm Orna Karni. I manage the strategy and innovation for AIG Israel. And let's start with you, Sharon. I thought that HiBob is an HR platform. So what are you doing in an InsurTech panel?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out myself. I have to say first that I was yesterday at the Deloitte convention, and after the lunch, the moderator took his phone. You know, it was kind of like the same vibe as we have here. He took his phone and he put Despacito, the Brazilian song, and made everybody dance. So I'm not going to ask you to dance, yeah, so HiBob is an HR software, but modern businesses that are struggling with recruiting and retaining employees just realize that benefit is a crucial and beneficial part of the employee package. So as part of what we do, we help them, we help our clients, and we help businesses, and we also help employees to manage their existing benefits, but also optimize the relationship with the biggest benefit suppliers, and by benefits I mean insurance, life insurance, medical insurance, childcare insurance, and also perks. So basically what we're doing is 3 simple things. We are obviously a buying power because we're closing the deal for them. We help them to personalize, to build the exact needed package for the right employees at the right time. It is obvious that a 30-year-old developer doesn't need the same package as I am, for example. And the third thing that we're doing is that we help them to present and to actually communicate in the best way what's the benefit package that is available.
Thanks. Nick, why do you think InsurTech is such an exciting area at the moment?
Yeah, okay. So I think InsurTech is fascinating. Because it's great working here because it touches so many different aspects of society and technology. So in InsurTech, you've got mitigating risk applies across everything. So we have travel, we have health, we have crops, agriculture. Every single kind of industry insurance touches, and therefore it's fascinating seeing how use cases from different technologies can be applied across these very different applications. So it's great because we get to work with some of the top VR companies who are looking to help improve mental health therapy, which is an insurance use case. And we're looking at a couple of companies here today have been looking at drones and how that can be applied to manage the yield of crops and work out if there's going to be a failure this year. And so I think that the fascinating thing is just so many different technologies that are kind of nascent at the moment, and seeing out how they can apply to various different sectors means InsurTech is kind of one of the most broad-reaching areas of kind of technology. So it's fascinating.
Yeah, it sounds fascinating.
Well, I enjoy it.
Yeah, when you talk about it. No, actually, I do think it's fascinating.
I don't think anyone has spoken about insurance in that fascinating way in a long time. I know you guys think that insurance is not that, well, we'll get there in a second, but okay.
Debate.
So Yair, what actually you're doing in Israel, and how do you look at the, local InsurTech market?
Well, firstly, I live here, so we have to be in Israel. But seriously, I'll answer the question the following way. How many people here are from the insurance industry? Just raise your hand. I count 5. I didn't raise my hand, by the way. Orna, you're one of those people. You're not from the insurance industry. Neither am I, okay, to be honest. That's really the reason why. I'm actually going to piggyback off what you said a second ago. Israel, I think we all could agree, Israel has great tech. I think it's better than the Valley. Whoever's here from the Valley, I apologize, but it's really great tech. What we're not amazing at in Israel, and as an Israeli I'm saying that, we're not amazing at thinking business first or how it can apply to certain industries first. And the reason we're in Israel, I think first and foremost, is as an insurance company, we have a lot of know-how in insurance. We know how to, we have 1 million actuaries, we have thousands of claims adjusters. It's a boring, legacy, cumbersome industry. It's way behind banks. Everyone here has been listening about banks and cryptocurrencies for the past day and a half, and we're lagging way behind them, let's be honest. And when we look at Israel, we see a lot of great tech over a lot of different industries, like you just said, and insurance touches almost every single industry. Sharon, you didn't mention before workers' compensation, one of the benefits, right? Workers' compensation, we don't, as Israelis, we don't understand it, but in the US, as an example, workers' compensation is a big, big deal for anyone that works in the company. We're the third biggest underwriter in workers' compensation in the US today, so that's a big benefit that people do not understand. But you mentioned crop, drone, forget that, small business, medium business, GL. I could go on for hours about this in every single place of the business. I had a meeting literally, I think it was today or yesterday, about a business that has to do with renewable energy. Nothing to do with insurance. He has some platform he's going to create to help pricing elasticity and renewable energy. And I just said to him, what about how we could take that kind of platform and underwrite, the supply around renewable energy? It's a totally different thing, but any product you think about could relate to this world of insurance. So is it an exciting industry? No, the industry is not. It's boring as heck, okay? But is there a lot of opportunity there? Especially in Israel, I think so. I mean, when we came into Israel less than a year ago, and our mantra is, you all could be an InsurTech. And we really believe that really almost every tech company here, if they think about it in the right way and they connect to it in the right way, could really be an InsurTech company. That's why we're here.
Thanks. Sharon, you again. It's clear that the InsurTech market has yet to reach its full potential. What do you think and what do you believe? And as you work with the insurance industry for, I guess, more than a year already?
Yeah, we're 2.5 years old.
Wow. What are the biggest challenges? The InsurTech industry is definitely haven't actually started, from the way we stand. And I think one of the biggest challenges and one of the biggest obstacles is the carriers. I don't know how many. I guess I'm in a minority here, but the biggest players, the biggest insurance providers, they're not there yet. So I mean, yeah, they all got the memo. They all understand that InsurTech and the disruption.
That's my job. That's owner's job, no?
Well, they all the people that are not here in the room.
Yeah, they all go to the InsurTech conventions. They all have accelerators. They all have innovation fund. They all have head of digital. They're talking to the head of innovation, etc., etc. And they all have accelerator. And they're meeting a lot of startup. But at the end of the day, and I'm saying it, we partner with Aviva, we partner with Canada Life, we partner with Mercer Marsh. We work with them very closely. And at the end of the day, when you need a very simple thing like API, it's almost impossible. So I know, it's a massive organization. It's hard to change it. It takes time, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen because this industry have to get into the right disruption. But I think it's not there yet. And I'm saying it, after being in the industry for a little bit more than 2 years, and looking. We work very close with them. We have very close sponsors with each one of our partners that is helping us pushing it internally, and it's not an easy thing.
So
I am an optimistic. So.
Yeah, of course you should be, and as a different type of insurance company, AIG as well. So we do have an API, and you can use the API for home insurance, auto insurance, and travel insurance. So
So great. Yeah.
We also have an API in AmTrust, so maybe we're talking to the wrong companies. I don't know.
Probably.
Can I respond to that though for a second?
No, I mean, yeah. I have to be honest here and say that there's a great will on both sides, and there are certain stuff that are happening, but it still takes a lot of time. And it's very obvious. It's complicated. It's a different DNA. We talk to various people in each one of the organization, in each one of the suppliers that we work with. But I think we're at a situation where we don't have, there is no choice. This industry have to move to the next step. My kids would never sit in front of a pension broker and nod over their head when they don't understand anything. The people want to consume insurance product exactly the same way that they consume other stuff. Exactly the same way as we do our shopping, as we do our travel. Which is understand what we're doing, first of all, have the ability to compare, have the ability to choose. And I think it's getting there. It takes time.
Yeah, and it will take time. Nick, why does the insurance company have to change now? And what do you think that what technologies could truly change the insurance industry at the moment? I mean, hearing
maybe
Sharon.
responding to what you're saying is I think that the industry itself is changing from being the bearer or the point of contact at bad news. So something goes wrong, my car's broken, I've hurt my leg, I get in contact, and to the point where actually everyone's realizing you need to be the point of customer interaction the whole way through that journey. So how can you be a value-added provider the whole way through the life cycle of working with a particular customer? And in fact, you then go from the viewpoint of being helping customers when they actually have an issue to being preventative. So I think the health example is a great one. We're seeing a lot of healthcare companies move into that space, a lot of health insurers. So, if we can help provide, AI analytics on top of your data that comes through trackables and wearables, you can actually prevent stuff happening, which is much cheaper than actually, an order of magnitude more than actually paying out when they have to go to the hospital, for example. So I think there's definitely a case of being that point of contact, and almost that's a reframing of what insurance is in the minds of customers. And insurance often gets a bad rep, I think, but if it is reframed as, some kind of assistant or a support or a guidance company, everyone's incentives seem to be aligned in the right way, which may have not have been the case before, which creates, I guess, a bad will in the community. So I think things are changing, and a lot of the insurers are realizing that needs to change as well.
Yeah, and we do try to help our customers to prevent and to mitigate the risk, and I think that's.
I think the technology as well is now there to do that. I think that's one of the reasons for changing. So having apps and stuff in our pocket means there is now a gateway to those people rather than this high friction phone call that you don't really want to be calling someone at a call center unless you really need to having something that is actually there all the time, that is available and you need it, that can actually prompt and push. And I think that is an enabler of this new method of interaction with insurers. So I think they're kind of going hand in hand.
Thanks. Yayo. How do you view the InsurTech players that are trying to disrupt? And is it really disruption in this area?
I'll answer in two ways. First of all, anyone that wants to disrupt this industry, or I hate the word disrupt, but anyone that wants to affect the industry in a positive manner, that's I think a better way of saying it, please. I think it's, we've talked about this. It's, the carriers are trying to do this in a much better way, but Sharon's right. We're not near where we need to be. We need to be touching our customers more often, like you mentioned. There's a major change of culture that's needed within these companies, within the carriers. I see it in my company, I see it in all companies. The technology exists. So if you have an API, don't have an API, you'll connect it, it'll run. It's not the issue. The issue is there needs to be a major change of culture and understanding in the industry of how you need to interact with your customers and what kind of products you need to provide them and how you need to change the industry. So anyone that wants to come and quote unquote disrupt, whatever that word means, or change or affect the industry in a positive manner, please come and do that. It's only going to help us as incumbents do a much better job. And I'll add one other thing. I think this is going to move quicker than what happened with the classic Fintech and the banks. So, we've been talking about Fintech for over a decade. I mean, we're still doing these Fintech conferences, which is great, but this has been going on for a long time. I mean, the P2B lending was over a decade ago, right? It's been going on for a really long time. Anyone that goes to a bank will tell you it's not near where it needs to be even today. There's many reasons to that, but I can tell you one reason probably was that at the beginning, a lot of the banks were not exactly keen on, combining or partnering with some of these disruptors, quote unquote, right? They're pushing back. They didn't like it. I think today the insurance companies have learned from those lessons, and you'll see most of them trying in one way or another to figure out how to partner or work with these techie companies. We might stink at it. We may have to do a much better job at doing it in the right way. We don't move quick enough. We got to go quicker. We got to have people running and pushing and doing and cutting through the red tape and getting rid of the bureaucracy and understanding that sometimes you have risk and you have reward. But at least I think we've definitely gone through that hurdle of, oh, we don't want to, they're scaring us. Quite the opposite. I love Lemonade. Okay, I don't know everyone here, has everyone here ever Lemonade? Lemonade insurance? Just okay, it's better than maybe better than we thought it would be. But so everyone talks about Lemonade, right? We love Lemonade. Okay, there's Lemonade, and they're an insurance company. Okay, are they going to disrupt what we're doing? They might. They might be disrupting, my small business, in a couple of years from now. They're in renters insurance. They're going to push forward. They're Israeli. They have great tech. They look at it differently. They've done things differently. Great. It's only going to make us do it better, set expectations in different areas, or we could be a much, much better insurance company. And, at the end of the day, let's be honest, companies like Lemonade, they're startup. They're going to want to exit. What's their exit strategy? Either going to be a big insurance company and they have the same problems that we have right now, or they're going to want one of us to take them out. Let's be honest, okay? Let's just call the spade a spade at the end of the day. So, yeah, please.
Yeah, I have to support it, and if in the fintech InsurTech industry, a couple of years ago, there was some kind of expectation or dreams that the startup will replace the banks. We understand that the biggest change is going to come from collaborations. That the biggest thing that will happen, I believe that in 5 years, the biggest player will still be the current players. They will just act differently. And, the floors are sitting here in the front row, and, they're bringing the biggest banks from all over the world to meet Israeli startups and to meet the innovation, and they're working constantly because there is a mutual interest from both sides to actually work on that collaboration.
I think, I completely agree with what you both said. I think there's also another angle as well in working together. I think that what we're seeing is, you often say, why aren't big corporates working with startups more often? And in fact, startups often haven't worked with big corporates before, and so don't know the correct methodologies to engage and get caught up in the bureaucracy, don't know how enterprise sales cycles work, don't know who to be talking to, don't know how to do stakeholder management. It's like a complex thing if you are straight out of university, you've got a great PhD, some research behind you, and a new way of solving a problem. That's a new way of solving a problem, but not a new way of solving insurance in a big institution. So I think that there is a two-sided play here in terms of how can big companies like API layers are great, but if that's going to take 3 years to build, maybe do something quick, short, export some data that is, that is anonymized and so on. How can we do something quick there? But also, let's not focus all our energy on that. There's also how do we help startups understand the right framework in which they need to be engaging with corporates as well. I think it's both sides need to work together, and the collaboration is really key, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And for the audience here, you've got Yair from InsurTech and me from AIG, so it's a start, Yeah. So Sharon, as you work with the giants for a while, can you provide some tips?
It was a real nightmare to start with. It wasn't easy.
It is. I hear you.
I think it's just like talking a different language, and it's talking to multiple people inside the organization, and it takes time. And for a startup, the one thing that we don't have is time. But again, HiBob is a little bit different because we have signed 3 big agreements with leading insurance suppliers, and we're about to announce the 4th one in a month, facing the U.S. market. If I have to give 2 warm recommendations for startups that are trying to work with corporates, the first one will be do your homework. Try to understand what are they after. read the reports, listen to their CEOs' pitches. Actually, try to understand if you're the right match for them, not if they're the right match for you. And before we met with Aviva, for example, we know that their main target was to go down market and to find technology that will help them deal with small, medium businesses, and we understand that we are exactly what they're after. So I think the first thing will be try to understand if you're the right fit for them, and the second will be try to find sponsors within the organization. There is always these few people that you are literally sits in their personal KPIs or in their department targets, and you will help them shine and make them your ambassadors and help them to push you internally. Build a personal relationship. It's the very basic thing, but always try to make them shine and make them success. And I think, we did it, and we had agreement in place. Actually implement those agreements and make it work is a totally different story. We're working on it. I'll tell you the secret once we solve that one.
Good luck. So, Yair, you laugh, but what are you doing to improve this industry?
Well, I'll what Sharon said, right? That's kind of what I try to do. Also, you, right? Sharon's your second piece of advice was exactly trying to create relationships with Orna and myself and try to get it done, right? But listen, what we're trying to do is, we look at these companies, and that's essentially my job is to be that ambassador and to figure out, which companies work well for us and which companies will we be a good partner for them. And we're trying to just improve our process. Let's give an example. I've been doing this for 10 months, so I'm really not from the insurance space at all. 10 months ago, we started our first tech move it was a chatbot, simple chatbot, really great company called Reply.ai. They're still functioning. They're doing a really good job. It took us literally probably 6 months to get them through the funnel, to get them to just start working. And this is a simple chatbot. It's not complicated. If person X is still out here, once you start touching about insurance, then you could talk to me. But today, we started another pilot, with, we announced it a couple weeks ago with Spark Beyond. And Spark Beyond has taken us a third of the time. Okay, it's not because, this Spark Beyond is better than Reply.ai. Quite the opposite. It's because we're trying to learn how to make this process simpler and better to the right people in the company with the right process, the way of doing it, the right KPIs. It's really an ongoing process to figure this out. How we can improve the industry? We want to make it more. We want to make it better for the customer. At the end of the day, no matter we're a small business insurer, but we're still touching the end customer, right? We're extended warranty insurer. We're still touching the end customer. So a lot of people go automatic to the consumer facing. That's part of it, but not really. At the end of the day, if you're going to be a better carrier, a better insurance provider for the end customer, your back end has to work a lot better. Your data's got to be quicker. Your process has to be amazing. Your claims has to be not cumbersome. Your underwriting's got to be done easier. If you're working with agents, you have to make sure the agent could quote you much quicker than today. It takes agents today. We're in Israel, but even in Israel, it takes agents today days to get you a proper quote and to bind you and to get you a policy and a gazillion amount of papers and what the heck you're even signing upon. It's a disaster. There's no other better word for it. All right, so you have to touch every piece of this puzzle and just improve it piece by piece. It will take time. I promise you today, it's not going to happen in 12 months. It's not going to flip. It's not going to be Netflix coming in 12 months from now and putting Blockbuster out of business. It will take time to improve each and every piece of this process, and we're trying to do the best we can.
So it will take time, but how do you think the insurance world will look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? How long it will take?
It's going to take time. In 5 years from now, I think we're still going to have these conferences and talk about very similar topics, to be honest. We're going to get better in certain areas. We had some meetings probably a few months ago in the company, and back to your beginning point, Nick, we said earlier today, was about how everything just touches everything, right? So let's take an example, a crazy example, okay? So in the U.S., when Trump got elected about a year ago, what people didn't notice is that in a couple states in the United States of America, marijuana was legalized. Recreational marijuana was legalized, right? That's going to continue to happen, right? This is one example. Robotics. All these things are happening in the background, which directly affects insurance companies. Amazon, Okay, you talk about Amazon. We talked about Amazon before in the previous panel about AI, and Amazon today basically, took control over almost every consumer product in America, right? But people need insurance for shipping. So a lot of new products are coming out all the time that are actually being built out of a more modern mindset. So you might see a lot quicker changes in those areas as opposed to the legacy stuff, right? The legacy stuff is going to take a lot more time to create. And you'll see a lot of, I think next 5 years, you'll see a bunch of these, some of these original startups that did really, really well. They will get swallowed up by companies like ours. We will try to implement some of their technologies. And I think you will, probably 10 years from now, we'll start feeling much more of a modern shift in the way people are looking at insurance, not 5.
Nick, Sharon, you want to add something about the future world? Where are we going to be in 5 years from now?
I think I've mentioned it before, I think we will see a lot of collaborations, hopefully a few good M&As, without mentioning any names. I think that, with somebody just told me more than 1,000 startups within the InsurTech world and $14 billion in investments, there would have to happen an adoption from the big carrier side. And I think it will take less than 10 years. I think we will see big things happening in 5 years. I do believe that, the biggest players, Scottish Widow will still exist in 10 years from now. They will still be one of the biggest players. They've been I think, a little bit more than 300 years or something, the first insurance company. I think they will still be a major player, but they will be a totally different company. Data-oriented, using technology, obviously, as one of their major assets. And I hope, I see it already happening, Lemonade is just one example, but it's already happening, and I think it's going to take, 3 to 5 years until we really feel it in our day-to-day.
Yeah, I think the initial trend will be smarter. I think it's interesting we've gone from that concept, there's like buzzwords come and go, and we had big data, everyone was talking about it a couple of years ago, and now that's AI. So I think we've gone from this phase of, we've now collected all this great data about people, and now it's just a matter of how do we kind of capitalize and make things seamless and make things, you don't have to log in 3 times, all these very simple.
Don't forget the blockchain.
Things. Yeah, sure, some blockchain, yeah, absolutely. So how do we start to basically streamline and make it just like a user experience that is phenomenal? I think in the core way we use insurance, and I think that will help with the fact we've got this underinsured millennial generation at the moment that have great purchasing power but just aren't buying insurance products. And I think there's an education piece, there's a user interface piece there. I think that will start to resolve. And I think a lot of the new companies that are coming through are helping with that. But I think there's also this fascinating stuff coming around the horizon in about 5 years' time as well that's going to just throw everything, up in the air again. So we've got stuff like, quantum computing's coming around. We're just seeing startups in this space. And I'm not an expert in quantum computing, but we're looking at use cases such as, the highest level of cryptography can be broken in a few minutes using a quantum computer. So how does that work for cyber insurance? I don't know. Probably changes things dramatically. And then you look at health insurance. And then you look at genomics and see, if you can actually understand the breakdown of this, like 23andMe, and understand what your, what conditions you may be having in a few years' time. And if you actually understand that, risk disappears. You actually have definitives, and insurance only works when there's a risk factor involved. So what does health insurance look like in that market? So there's some really interesting new frontiers for insurance to kind of try and grapple with. I think that's going to be fascinating. But I think that's kind of a long way off still, and I think that the beginning stage is going to be just a real improvement in how we actually interact with insurance.
Thank you very much. I think we've got time for questions from the audience? No. Okay. So thank you very much, all of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.